Hello, wonderful people. Everybody wants to be able to manifest anything that they desire just at will. But one, we all know it's not as easy. And two, everybody knows such base level knowledge of how to actually turn your thoughts into a reality that there's just no tangible way that they could go ahead and do this because they know so little. Today we're going to be changing that, and we're going to be going more in depth in the context of the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Now, in case you're new to Mythology Notes, what we do here is I read books, I write notes on those books, take concepts and turn them into actionable things you can implement to better your life today. Now, if that sounds good to you, please go ahead and subscribe. But I also want to be very clear in the fact that this video or the other videos I've made about this book are not a replacement for reading the book. The book is so valuable. If you don't know, the way this book originated is Andrew Carnegie really liked Napoleon Hill and was like, hey, dude, would you be able to go out and interview a bunch of successful people and then figure out what the success formula is and then bring that information to the world? So this is literally like success formula right here. And we're going to be talking about just a piece of it. So if this little piece that we're going to be talking about today is going to change your life so exponentially, because things do compound. If you make a change today, it's going to continuously compound into endless value for you. And if this little piece can make such a change for you, I think that's just a sign that you need to read the book further. Now let's get into it, because we're not talking basics, we're talking specifics of how to turn thoughts into reality. But I do also want to be very clear, and I know I cannot control how you go ahead and you use this, but I want to be very real with you that this works. So whatever it is that you decide to manifest, and if you put your whole heart into it and your whole mind into it and you follow everything in the book and you follow this video, it's gonna work. But I just want to make the very clear distinction between good choices and bad choices. You can manifest both. I personally believe in Christ, so I want to make sure that my choices of what I manifest align with God's choices. If this is God's purpose for me, then I want to go and manifest it. But I know that I'm manifesting in the right direction. You don't want to manifest in the wrong direction. And with that, let's begin. In the book, the concept of autosuggestion is very heavily emphasized. Now, autosuggestion is the things you intentionally use around you to suggest thoughts into your mind through your five senses. You're suggesting an identity into yourself, which goes into your conscious mind. And then from your conscious mind, you can then choose whether this is something you want to allow inside of your mind or not. With every single action you take in the world, whether you play video games, whether you go to the gym, whatever it is that you want to do, you get to decide with your conscious mind, do I do this thing? Do I not do this thing? Do I let this into my subconscious mind? And when it goes into the subconscious mind, after you've auto-suggested this item with whatever it is, with action or with a saying that you're repeating to yourself, which Napoleon Hill very heavily suggests, having words that you put faith and emotion into, to use that to suggest into your conscious mind and then let that through. Be like, yes, I consciously want this, to let that through into your subconscious mind. When it is in your subconscious mind, that becomes your identity. Subconscious is the things you don't have to consciously think about to do naturally. So if you come to a decision, you have to make a decision on what you're going to do next. You just already know what you're going to do because it's in your subconscious mind and you've auto-suggested this identity into yourself. Now, I'm going to mention this again. The way you can use auto-suggestion, now that you understand the basis of this process, you can use auto-suggestion, you can do auto-suggestion by suggesting things to yourself with your environment. Five senses. You have five senses that you can use to auto-suggest things into your conscious mind to then move it into your subconscious mind consciously. I always give the example of my phone background. My phone background is ambition without action creates anxiety. I am anxious because I'm misaligned with the person I'm supposed to be. I'm misaligned with the things I'm supposed to be doing. So I've auto-suggested that into myself. I have a vision board above my bed of pictures, images, words that describe the individual that I want to become, things I want to auto-suggest into my day, into my mind, into my subconscious, into my identity. I have my goal that I read every single morning. I have certain decisions that I make every single day. I have certain things that I say no to. I have boundaries where this is not a boundary I'm willing to cross. No, I'm not willing to vape. I don't think it's going to be beneficial for me in the future. No. No, I'm not willing to have friends who aren't going to benefit me. No, this person isn't benefiting me, so I'm going to end that friendship because that's the type of person I'd want to be. You auto-suggest through your environment. But now this is the thing that most people miss, is adding emotion into it, which I've actually never heard anywhere else until I read this book, is the sayings, the pictures, everything. Everything you're auto-suggesting into yourself, it means nothing to your subconscious mind. It carries very little weight unless you put emotion into it. If you feel emotionally attached to the concept, like, there is a desire, there is a thought. You can have a thought and not act on the thought because it's just a thought. You can have a desire for something, but it has to become an obsession, a desire that is an obsession. That is how emotionalized your thoughts must be. So if I'm saying, hey, I want this amount of money, and it's tough, like if you're already a rich kid, and you're like, yeah, my parents got me covered, I will never be homeless, but you're like, inside you have this desire that you want to be independent, but you have to add emotion into that. You have to add maybe some fear into that, maybe some faith in yourself that you can do. You can induce faith by proving to yourself with little actions that you are actually able to achieve this thing. You have to add emotion into it of how proud your parents would be if you were to achieve it. You have to imagine yourself inside being, giving the service for the money, there's no such thing as something for nothing. So you must imagine yourself giving the thing in return for the monetary equivalent. You need to emotionally charge the thoughts you provide to your subconscious so that it can be returned to you as absolute faith that you can achieve this thing. And just another warning, you shouldn't depend on reason. Reason convinces you out of so many things. Reason isn't always in your favor, as much as it might sound like it should be. Reason, as Napoleon Hill puts it, can make you lazy, reasoning yourself out of the good things that you're supposed to be doing is one of the worst things you can do for yourself. So sometimes when you get this thought and it just sounds completely absurd to you, that might be God giving you something tangible that you can do, as absurd as it sounds. Napoleon Hill also, he doesn't say God, but he continuously says the universe or infinite intelligence. To me, that would be God. And universally, from what he's interviewed from these men, they also believe that there is some sort of infinite intelligence that you can connect with through your subconscious. And I just want to emphasize, these were 500 rich and successful people who probably know a lot more about the world collectively than you and I do alone. So just the fact that they think there's an infinite intelligence that can give them thoughts that they need to act on, it is in your best interest to humble yourself for a second and be like, you know what, they probably do know more than me. You know what, I'm super young, I'm super stupid. Me in 5 years is going to think I was dumb. Smart for my age, but probably quite dumb compared to the new me. So humbling yourself for a second, being like, you know what, I'm going to listen to this advice, this amazing advice that could change my life, and I'm just going to do my best to execute it. Sometimes a thought will spring into your mind, and it is very heavily emphasized just throughout the book that you need to catch that because it doesn't last for long. And I've heard so many people say this. I've heard of successful people carrying notebooks with themselves, writing it down all the time. Just the moment this can come at any moment. But I noticed that, especially for me personally, these things will come right before I'm falling asleep or in the very morning. It's very important that you catch this genius train of thought and utilize it for yourself. You're going to catch it and you're going to treat it with respect, is what Napoleon Hill legitimately said. You need to treat this with respect, what flashes into your mind, because this is your subconscious giving you the ability, the idea of a plan of how you're going to go and make this happen. This little idea could be worth thousands or millions, billions of dollars. You don't know. Treat it with respect. And with treating it with respect, go and act on it. As absurd as it sounds, humble yourself a little bit and be like, okay, I'm going to go do this absurd thing because this might have been from literally God. Wow. the creator of the universe who sees absolutely everything just sent me a thought and an idea for the purpose that I've been trying to fulfill. What an honor that is. And what an honor it would be for me to have you subscribe to my YouTube channel. I value every single person. I get so excited over every single person that joins this channel because I know that that's another person who just bettered their lives, who just learned something new, who's gonna have an exponential benefit on the information they just learned. Knowledge has value. It has potential value. Action is what makes it real value. I'd love for you to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.